Hey everybody, I'm Den Haring and welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365, and welcome back to Topwater Tuesday! Today, we're going to do a new lure review here. This is the Shimano World Pop. So we're out here, we're stuck in the rain right now. We were giving this World Pop a test run today, just fishing from the bank this morning. I'm on vacation, so I thought I'd go and fish a few areas from the bank to test this lure out, see what I think of it. And so far, I really like this bait. I'm gonna be fishing this a lot more. It's got some unique qualities to it, and we're gonna go over them right now. So it's a standard popper. I think it's about 65 millimeters long. It comes with good hardware. I left the hook on there. You know me, I always change my hooks out to Gamakatsus, and I did change the belly hook, but I didn't have time to tie up a feather hook, and I have no tied up one, so I left the feather hook on the tail thinking that that might be a good thing. But by now you might be noticing something a little different about this bait. It has a piece of foil inside the lure. The lure is somewhat clear. And the foil is attached to two micro springs, and just the slightest movement of the lure, you can see, hopefully you can see that the foil is moving right now. I mean, I'm not even moving the bait, and yet that foil is moving. So that's a really cool, unique, new to the market addition. I don't think anybody's done anything like this. If they have, I haven't seen it, but this is done in a very high quality way. And we didn't even have sunshine today, and that thing, you can see that thing moving out there. If the sun's shining, I think it's even better because it's reflecting off of that. But this bait can be sitting still and not moving, and yet it's still indicating movement within the bait with that moving like that. So, you know, when a fish is sitting or injured on the surface or whatever, it might have its gills moving, its fins moving a little bit. Just some kind of indication of movement, and that's the case with this thing too. Look at that. So you pop it, and that moves for a long time, and if there's a little bit of a chop on the water, it's going to continually move. So I really like the bait. You know, I caught a largemouth on it this morning before the rain started. Hopefully I can get back out. If that rain slows down or stops, we'll go out there and we'll fish some more and see if we can't get some more. Time I got him. Had to work for him a little bit, but I got him on the World Popper here. He ate it good that time. Learned a little bit about how to pop it. This fish is the same fish I think that hit earlier. Dark one. On the World Popper. It has a shallow face to it, a shallow cupped popper face, which I like. I like to put a very small snap. I attach a snap to this thing. Here's the snap that I'm using. Hopefully you can see that. I just use a really tiny snap, attach it to the bait. The snap is light. It doesn't weigh the bait down. And as you saw in the footage, or as you're going to see in the footage, it's an extremely easy bait to walk the dog with, which is something that's important to me. I'd like to have that popper action where you can bloop it and pop it subtly, or you can bloop it harder. But I really like to be able to walk the dog with it, because oftentimes when I'm done with the retrieve, or when I'm done throwing it around the area that I think a fish might be at, and I've let it sit out there, and I fish it generally the way you do a popper. You know, you just let it sit, you bloop it ever so minimally, and then you let it sit again. When I'm through with that, then I like to bring it back, and I could bring it back with that walk the dog retrieve and pick up some extra fish that way. So very, very nice addition. When you have poppers that can walk the dog, and most of them do, but this one walks the dog extremely well, and it still spits while you're doing it. I really like the action of it. I'm going to be using this at night for stripers, but I think it's also a really good bait for largemouth and smallmouth bass. You'll see me fishing this more in the future because I really like it. I think it's really well made. It pops just the way I like it too. It walks the dog easily. It just is very lifelike in the water. And just as importantly, for the size of the bait, you can cast it a country mile. So it casts really well, even though it's not a really large bait. Just has all the right qualities. Now, Shimano has this bait available, and I think they're using this same technology in other lures now too, but I'm not 100% sure. But with this popper, it's not a cheap bait. It's $19.99 is the, you know, everybody seems to have it for the same price. I looked briefly this morning before I came out, and everywhere I looked it was $19.95, and that's what I paid for it as well. So not a cheap bait. I don't want to lose it, but I do want to buy a few more because I really like the bait. This is the only one I have. I just bought it on Friday just to test it out a little bit today, and so like I said, I'll be using it some more. And what I'm using this on, I have a Topwater rod. I'm using a Daiwa Topwater light and tough rod. It's an old rod, but it's got the right tip for Topwater. You want a rod that has a little bit of a softer tip so that you can work the Topwater baits nicely, and yet you want some backbone so you can bring those fish in. And the rod, that Daiwa Topwater rod, is perfect for it, and it's my favorite rod for Topwater. And then, you know, I have a reel on there that I think is something like a 6.8 to 1 gear ratio, somewhere in that range. And the line, I have 20-pound test braided spider wire stealth line, and then I have a long 17-pound test monofilament leader. I think it's Berkeley XT monofilament, probably at least 2 rod lengths of leader, 17-pound test. That leader mono floats. Don't use fluorocarbon leader because that sinks, and so you can form a little belly in front of the fish of line, and it can catch the hook, and the bait doesn't work as good as it does with mono leader because the mono floats and stays away from the hook. Also, mono is the mono that I'm using at 17-pound test is fairly stiff, and so that stays away from fouling the hooks. Just makes working the bait that much easier and more pleasant to do.
Yeah, I think so.
This is a perfect example of how the advantage of the World Pop. I just threw it out against the bank and was just sitting there. I wasn't paying any attention at all, and that mirror did the thing, and we caught the fish. So that's the Shimano World Pop for this Topwater Tuesday. If you guys have any experience with this bait yet, please comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, hit that like button. I appreciate that. Share the video with your friends. Remember, we're certified bassified, and as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.